Greetings, seekers after enlightenment. Yes, it's the Irish fella, and I am back with another episode for the House of Knowledge. I call this Deprogramming. It is not an easy thing to do. Surrounded by your friends and neighbors, seeing them all succumb to external pressure, displaying conformity, attempting to use shaming language, threats, and intimidation to force you into a Procrustean bed of faux equality. Now, if anyone sees you, you appear as an extra in a zombie apocalypse movie. Red pill wisdom allows one to stand alone without fear. When one absorbs the red pill, it is inevitable that one receives the black pill as well. It is all too easy to enter that seductive embrace of nihilism. A dangerous path is ahead that could lead to despair and suicide. Take it from one who knows. Yet an awake man knows that there is a dark side to his nature, the primitive that is ready to be unleashed. He learns patience and restraint to keep that force within. One could do the same with black pill wisdom. In me, it is manifesting in a serene, calm attitude that is unaffected by the tides of life. People say, I act like I don't give a F. Well, I'm not acting. I literally have no anxiety or worry over whether I'll wake up tomorrow or not. I have multiple plans in motion. It would be nice to see tomorrow, but if I'm hit by a speeding school bus today, all is well. We are being bombarded with information. Now we have children who have their own mobile devices. I knew a 2-year-old that had an iPad of his own. Now they may have the operational procedures down cold, but they are missing out on other vital areas. This preoccupation with technology is killing social skills. Relationships are increasingly ephemeral, leaving people with a lack of fulfillment. I note this even though I'm a monk, and by definition, I limit my exposure in social situations. I do feel the need for interaction on occasion, but as an awake red pill man of wisdom and action, I do it on my own terms. More than once I was in a social group, only on the fringes, finding out later that I was being trash talked about and never really accepted. And this is extremely painful when it's done to you by your in-laws. This dehumanizing effect was seen in the past by one man who wrote about it extensively. And as a side note, when you're not chained to a TV or a phone, it is easier to enjoy the act of reading. There is nothing quite like the tactile experience of reading a book. Now, I mentioned about the humanizing effect of technology. This item is, 25 years old, but it's still appropriate today. It is a paper called Industrial Society and Its Future by Theodore J. Kaczynski. You may know him as the Unabomber and his document, A Manifesto. Now, my Negrodamus alter ego already knows what you're thinking. He's a crackpot. He's extremist. He's insane. His ravings are valueless. Are they? This is what those in authority do when information appears that challenges their narrative. Smear tactics are on full display to present the target as a psychotic. If he's crazy and a criminal, he's discredited, so his information should be ignored. Well, let me drop some truth bombs. In 1995, he wrote about the dehumanization that comes with technology and the increasingly fragile nature of modern culture. With numbers in a ledger more valuable than human lives, there is little incentive to cooperation and a strong impetus to greed. I saw this firsthand. A family of 4 was shopping, and initially I was impressed because I could see it was a team effort with no coercion. There was intense cooperation between mom and 2 kids. But where's Dad? I found him. Well, he was right there, but he had a phone 3 inches from his nose. His arm locked into position, just like this, and the other hand is just pecking away at the phone like crazy. He's playing Pokemon Go, and he's completely oblivious to his surroundings. Now that's a pretty extreme example, but I can't rag on the guy too hard because I've done the same thing. I used to spend too much time on Facebook. Ranting political. Sit down for what you think is a few minutes and hours have passed. I doubt that changed anyone's mind. I'm still on Facebook, but now my exposure is limited to collecting memes and spreading red pill truth. When I got divorced, I lost my access to television. And in my asleep days, I had the TV on all the time because I didn't have enough self-control and focus. I needed that background noise in order for me to have something to half listen to. You know, it was rough being denied that source of information. But soon I realized I could do what I've always done. Improvise, adapt, and overcome. I have 6 crates of DVDs. I sorted through them and eventually I had a stack of watch anytime movies. Now, sure, they were familiar. I could probably recite dialogue right along with the show without even looking at the screen. But they were a distraction that I could turn my attention to when a good scene appears. Otherwise, it was just there. And it was a great help for me to have the blue pill programming gradually deteriorate because it was not being reinforced. And these days, I would say the same thing for radio. Except for plugging my phone into the car stereo in my truck to listen to my own music, I may have listened to the radio maybe 5 times in the 2 years I've owned this truck. Because Nothing out there worth listening to. Brothers, you have to unplug. Even if you have a job that requires your use of a computer or phone, it will be worthwhile for your own mental stability to take a break and remove yourself from that environment. Spending time away from network shows, when you return, it will be easier to see the embedded blue pill programming. You will see the politically correct distribution of ethnic types in the background. And you will understand when language is being used to manipulate your emotions. And as a final note, you do not have to literally destroy your TV. Just disconnect the antenna or cable. Play games, movies, music, or a slideshow of pictures from your tower or laptop. Stay away from the overwhelming blue pill programming that wants you to be a compliant, productive drone. So brothers, that's it for this one. I hope you have found something of value in this rant. And remember, I still say, when one teaches, two learn.